Hey, I'm ElusiveKev. Welcome back to MotoGP 18 as we're heading to Spain for the second time this season and the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya off the best result of Mario's young Moto3 career so far. So here goes Mario then for the free tests in practice to make sure he gets those development points for the bike. So we begin with the speed trap test. We've got a time threshold just over a couple of minutes. I'm sure we can thrash that just like we've thrashed that first speed test, and this Barcelona circuit feels so wrong already. You're seeing the curves all up to the wall and the straight. All the curves look pretty weird compared to the race we had just seen around here. As he smashed the second speed trap. Don't know, it feels so really tight, this circuit. Even though, as you can see, its width is as normal. Just the surroundings around it. I thought they used drones and everything to make sure this was really accurate now, but yeah, it feels very wrong. At least the surroundings of the track and the curves as well. On this Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. We go down the back straight. And I'm performing decently at the moment on this test. This is one thing I'm pretty disappointed about, is that, yeah, we've gone back to the old ways of the last couple of corners. Why not here as well? It's still doing the tight hairpin. Why not the flowing part of the circuit? That flowing left and right, that was pretty gorgeous how it linked up. As always, smashed the speed test easy. We go for the final corner. Definitely going to smash that time threshold as well. Let's have it be looking around 150 maybe for better times than that 53.9. And now we do the braking test. Hopefully we won't be anticipating braking a bit early, will Mario? Perfect for the first corner. Get it down to second. And I guess we're going into the corner after this one. And see marginally slower than he did on his opening that. But yeah, just a couple of things off with this circuit. It feels like it's Antonelli's down, the Italian. Oh, and so is Della Porta, the Leopard. Not going very wide there. So I guess the next breaker boy is actually into this corner. It is into the left-hander. Perfect again. Definitely with the improved braking seems to help. We're not locking up at all going into these corners like you probably would have with the bike at Qatar. So hopefully for Mario, see less falls from it as now we go into turn 9, the fearsome turn 9. Up the hill. Virtually full throttle. After you take a little dab of the brakes. Perfect into the hairpin, a bit wide for Mario. This is a bit quicker than his previous up to that point, 3/10 up. So now go up the hill. Through that left and right. I do kind of hate that sequence of corners to say, especially compared to the old sequence. And the last braking point into the final corner. Yeah, we've seen one of the best passes in Grand Prix motorcycle history. Rossi passed Lorenzo there back in 2009 when they're the worst of enemies on board the Yamahas. So that was easy and not a perfect test. Now let's see if we can do the trajectory test. We go towards the first corner. Try and keep it around 95. Right at the moment. There we go, 95%. That's pretty good. So then we've got 5 places where we've got to stay on this trajectory line. Here comes the next one. Mario down into the right-hander. Very tricky corner, especially when you're trying to gas it up beyond the powers. Once again, 95%. I say we'll probably need to get 100 there with Mario, but 95, that's consistent. It's now goes up to 85% we've got to achieve. Through a very tricky sequence of corners. This will be interesting. Through the left. As you can see, we're chasing the line there as Mayo. Up to 94%. It's not bad. Again, 85% for the next sequence of corners, which seems to be out the hairpin and uphill. I guess I just think this hairpin would bring better passing, but that's the same thing why we have the chicaning at the end for the F1 circuit as well. And also safety, because they can't push back the wall for the F1 cars. But then they've done it for the MotoGP bikes slightly, so you never know. There's still hope eternal that we might get these corners back for F1. It's unlikely if they can't push back the grandstand, I guess. We go towards the line, another 95%. It's consistent Mayo in practice. He smashes those tests. Oh, there's a 94%. He's not consistent, Mayo. He's very inconsistent. As you can see, all above 5 miles per hour. And imperfect on all of the braking. What a fantastic development in practice 1. So Canet smashed it in practice 1, 50.5. Almost 4/10 of a second ahead of Bastianini and Bezzecchi. Looking good firm on the KTM in 3rd. Sasaki Hotel, Suzuki Arbolono in 7th. Rodrigo in 8th. Teammate Loy in 9th. Ahead of Dal Binder, who's right at the back last time out. Look at Mario down in 22nd. Not in last. Instead, that goes to Yachenko. Where is Jorge Martin? Down in 14th in one of his home races. Very surprising to see that in practice, but it'll be all different in qualifying. As Mario goes out to qualify, look who's on top. Gabriel Rodrigo, the Barcelona-based Argentine riding in effect for his 2nd home race. It's really interesting to see if he holds on with that 51.9. It's unlikely. As Mario gets qualifying with under 10 minutes remaining in the session. We go through the first sequence of corners with an orange. No, it says he's 8/10 up. I'm guessing that's compared to practice. But it needs to be a couple seconds up at least to be matching Rodrigo and perhaps be in the top 10. He goes into the right. Nicely hooked up that corner. Sometimes you just want to chuck the bike in there and let it go wide. On this occasion, Mario just hogging that apex. Go through the left hand, a bit impatient on the throttle, but didn't upset the rear end. He's still around 8/10 quicker than whatever that time is. Now go uphill, heading towards turn 9. Slight out of the brakes, then hard on the power for the back straight. And then we can rest a bit for a heavy braking zone into the hairpin. And now he's 1.5 seconds up on his practice time. I'm still thinking that's the practice time. We go uphill past this chunky curb here on the right hand side. That really is thick. Then for the final couple of corners, braking down here into the first. Just about hitting the limiter before having to brake for the second. And then accelerate towards the line. This could be a 51 from Mayo, could it? Not quite. 52.1. He's right up there at the moment. As I said, the big hitters are to come. So he has to improve every lap. He brakes for the first corner. That's much better. And hard on the power. And now he's 8/10 up. Seriously, is he 8/10 up through 2 corners? I don't understand the timing at the moment. No way he's that much up as you go through the right-hander. I mean, if he is, that's pretty good. Be mid-51s he's aiming for then. Which would be very handy on the grid. It's a bit wide through the left, but using all that curve on the exit. No, he's 3/10 down, but he is purple. We go uphill. Oh, did he need to go down the second there? Feels like the bike was lagging a bit. with the uphill acceleration. I'm guessing that's pretty normal. Because you can't really clip that curb on the outside, you saw that just try and punt the bike into the air. Let's go into the hairpin, 5 tenths down to connect with 50.5. So McDonald's at least aiming for a low 51. That could be top 10 on the grid. He gets it right in the final couple of corners. Really using all the curbs. Oh, and a bit wide in the final corner, a bit too much brake. Not a very good run in the last couple of corners. Now Martin, here he is, he's alive now. 51.4 for McDonald, it is top 10. With 1 lap to go. Is that bike just stuck there on the inside? I swear it is. As you head towards the first corner. Braking around 50 metres. Absolutely insane. And hard on the power. Through the right. Or left should I say. In through the right. And he's up by 1/4 of a second. Surely that's not right. So at least you know the first couple of corners, Mayo, is pretty good. As it is Martin with a home pole ahead of Connect and Dedaport rounds out the front row on his their part ahead of teammate Bastianini, then Alonso Lopez and Bezzecchi on the second row. And Nuki's on the third row between a couple of Japanese riders in Suzuki and Tasaki. Mario McDonald in 8th with his best qualifying. Or second best qualifying of the year. I keep forgetting he has that pole in America. Seems so unusual with Joachim Kornfeld, the veteran, leading the 4th ahead of Gabriel Rodrigo and Mino. Then Bulligo with a decent qualifying for once in 13th ahead of Mesa. And 2 burning on the 6th row of Noadin, Antonelli and Loy. So pretty decent qualifying for both of the Avintia boys. You've got Ramirez, Dijan Antonio down in 20th ahead of Ottel. That's very surprising for the Italian and German. And Misaki, the Thai rider, in 23rd ahead of Foggia. In Arbolono, John McPhee down in 26th, and Albindu in 27th, and Yachenko and Arenas at the back row.
Just a few moments to go and the Catalan Grand Prix will officially begin. Riders are getting focused because they know that they'll have to give 100% from the very beginning.
And there is McDonald revving up on the grid as we get underway in Spain with 7 hard, torturous laps around this Catalunya circuit. McDonald has drifted back to no man's land. As he head towards the first corner, look at 3 wide in front, 4 wide, 5 wide. Here comes McDonald to the party. And they all make it through the first corner. McDonald up to 8th. Right to tell Suzuki. As he tries to get hard on the power through the corner, you can feel the rear kind of slide in there for McDonald. He holds on. And into the right hand, there's a little note down the inside. The Japanese rider might have compromised his exit though, and his chance of making a move into the left-hander. You can see your top 3 though, pulling away slightly from that gang of 4, led by, or 5 should I say, led by Alonso Lopez. It actually is a gang of 4, isn't it? And McDonald at the back. And look at this, you've got Lopez, you've got Bezzecchi. You've got Loy battling for the points. As Bezzecchi gets past Suzuki for 6th. You go down the back straight, no, Suzuki's right back. Fast. Going to the hairpin. Got Mino behind in 9th. It's almost losing the rear. Saw that a number of times this past weekend. So easy to do that for Mario to go through the last couple of corners. The final corner. Hard on the power onto the start finish straight. This is a decent first lap for Mayo, but it's just where he began in 8th. Head of Rodrigo and Sasaki. And look at the straight line speed. Everyone else is in formation. The slipstream, Mayo isn't. It shows as he heads towards the first corner. Bit cautious in. Have to be much more aggressive in future laps as once again all over the back of Suzuki. We go for the right-hander. And Bulliger in the points instead of Nuruddin. He's holding on. Once again, McDonald not close enough to make a move on Suzuki into the right-hander. As Loy up to 16th of Nuruddin now. All the Belgian fancies a point. Di Antonio up to 19th, further down. We've got Binder and the tyre rider back in as well. Here comes Nuruddin's teammate to try and make a move, Sasaki. McDonald having none of it. And gaining back some time on Suzuki, heading onto the back straight. Again, maybe a bit too cautious into that right hand. There needs to be a bit less off the brakes. A bit more off the brakes, should I say. Go for the hairpin. You can see the top three have climbed away. Oh, McDonald over the back of Suzuki, almost riding into the Japanese machine. Front. Go for the final couple of corners. Suzuki's definitely the weak link in front, and McDonald, he smells blood. Oh, sure, he can't make a move in the final corner. Looks to the outside, tries to dip back into the slipstream. No, as we go on to the third lap. Martin with the fast lap, 50.5. McDonald less than a second slower. And he's got just about a good enough slipstream. Good enough toe from Suzuki to dive down the inside into the first corner. And take 7th place. Great move. Oh, and then he's wide through the left. Can he hold it though? Into the long right. Hogging all of that curb. And he can. So it's up to 7th for McDonald. Let's see if he can get up to this top 5 then. This battle for 4th. He's got Antonet ahead of Kornfeld behind, ahead of Rodrigo behind. There's some good battling going on throughout the whole of this field. There's Rodrigo and Kornfeld really are going hammer and tong. 4-12, 4-11 with Antonelli. We've got Bezzecchi in front, the Italian, in 6th. We're all riding very well now. In that rhythm. We've got Otto up to 18th, ahead of Bulliger, who's dropping out the points. Loy's in the points, up to 14th temporarily. So Nuruddin says no more. Look at McDonald up the hill. He's very good in that section as DJ Antonio sniffs a point. Ahead of Tuba now for 16th. Rodrigo and Kornfeld. That battle for 11th is manic. Just like this battle for 6th could become. The way McDonald is riding. Really caught up to the back of Bezzecchi. Unfortunately, in the final corner, loses to some time, and he's not going to get that slipstream. And he does another mid 51. 4/10 ahead of Suzuki, 6 behind Bezzecchi. We know how strong he is into that first couple of corners. As Loy's out the points to G. Gian Antonio. Oh, McDonald this time, very aggressive over the curves, slots down the inside of Bezzecchi. And takes 6th from the Italian. He didn't expect that. No one expected that. Maybe not even McDonald. But now you can see a top 5 in front. You can see 3rd dropping back into the clutches of 4th and 5th. So the rear starting to slide through that right hander. We've got to watch out for that in the second half of this race. As we're about to enter it. Got to watch out for Bezzecchi with the dive as well into the left-hander. Bezzecchi, we don't have time to be doing this. Oh, as he gets around the outside of Bezzecchi though, into the left. Oh, chops off the Italian. So McDonald back up to 6th. As we go through the left-hander. Brakes a bit earlier, much earlier on the power. Hopefully he has a better run down this back straight. I think he has. He's got Alonso Lopez in front, a teammate of Canet on that Estrella Galizia. Been precision through this field now. And right on the back of
5th. As we go into the final corner, really launched the bike into that. But again, had to use a bit more brake than you'd have liked. Again, affecting his run down the start-finish straight. There's a 51.1. He's 3/10 ahead of Bezzecchi, 7 ahead of Lopez, or behind Lopez. And that's despite battling Bezzecchi for a good part of that. So you can definitely dip into the 50s, McDonald. So you can do that on that. It's once again such a superb run. Through those first couple of corners. As Lois, he still sniffs that point in the Belgium in 16th. Antonin Rodrigo still going like a hell for 11th. Well, through the right-hander. You can see he's gaining on Lopez into all of these braking points. The brakes are superb now on this bike. Just maybe a lack of power as he gets onto the curb. That's cost him a couple of tenths. That's sloppy from McDonald. Going to the left at the bottom of the hill. Accelerate hard. 2.5 laps to go. You can see a second consecutive top 5 right in front. So McPhee and Fogger are battling over 20th. Di Giannantonio up to 12 ahead of Rodrigo. That's all. McDonald once again having to check up on the power. Tyres are starting to feel it a bit. Even though it doesn't look like it in the bottom right. Definitely starting to squirrel away, oh there is. McDonald using all of the curb, being so aggressive. There you go, braked a bit early on the power. Hopefully that's a better run onto the start-finish straight. As it's not quite a 50, once again dips down to a 51.4. As Martin ahead of Canet. Donald on the penultimate lap, sniffing 5th. Has a little look at Alonso. Has a little look down the inside of Lopez into the right. Does it stick? It does, it's 5th. But is he too far back from 3rd and 4th? And see everyone's paired off in front. Once again, hard on the power. Just worried about that rear slipping away. But not too bad at the moment. Go for the downhill corner. McDonald's hunting. Of course, so much of this season has been on the back foot. It's good to see it starting to come to fruition for him. As he tries to catch up to the Leopard twins. Bastianini and Della Portia. 3rd and 4th. A bit ragged through that left-hander. That's affecting him all the way down this straight, that lost speed. Going to the hairpin a bit wide. But again, good acceleration out of it. That's all 2 ahead of Loy. Loy's losing out on that point. Down to 18th now as the Belgium. Or just pushing like a hell this lap. But it's not close enough, it's not good enough. As he head on to the final out of the race with Martin just ahead of Canet. Della Porta just ahead of Bastianini. McDonald half a second ahead of Lopez and Bezzecchi, Suzuki, Sasaki and Mino rounds out the top 10. And then you've got the madness behind. Going to the first corner. This final lap. Well, just over a second behind Bastianini. He's going to need some help from the Italians. They have to start fighting for McDonald to catch up. Oh, there's the rear starting to fall away. McDonald holds on the final time through that right-hander. Through the left a bit wider, hoping to get on the power a bit earlier. Better acceleration towards the next left. We've got 1.7 behind though. Sotto's grabbing that final point ahead of Kornfeld. And Yurchenko Binder battling over the wooden spoon, which is going to the South African at the moment. As McDonald was probably just pushing a bit too hard on this final lap. Close the gap. Goes a bit wide in the hairpin again. Bike rearing up. It's Kornfeld and Otto battling over that final point. Oh, once again rear tyre slippage. Binder up to 28. There's battling all through the field. But not at the front. Where sort like it got decided at the start between Martin and Canet. The good senior rider beats the Australia Glitzer rider. Well, for McDonald, this is another top 5. Fantastic ride on board is KTM. And good reward as well. And it looks like we're flying through the levels now. And if you look at the fastest lap, everyone's where they should have been in the top 5 at least, as there Porter grabs that final podium spot ahead of his teammate Bastianini by half. Second, McDonald 5.4 off the win in the end, with Lopez in 6th ahead of Bezzecchi, and then Suzuki and Sasaki with Mino rounding out the top 10 just ahead of Antonelli in the end. And then DJ Antonio in 12th, Rodrigo in 13th, Nerd in 14th. Kornfeld does grab that final point ahead of Ottel. Tubeloy just fell apart in the final few laps, down to 18th in the end for the Belgium ahead of McPhee, just by less than a tenth of a second. Then Ramirez, and then right at the back it is Yurchenko. As overall 160 points for Martin, 22 ahead of Canet, with Bastianini in third, 4 points over his teammate Della Portus. Climbs ahead of DJ Antonio, the Italian, down to 5th, ahead of Mino, Bezzecchi. Lopez up to 8th ahead of Suzuki. Antonelli down to 10th. Then you've got Ottel. McDonald up to 12th. Another couple of positions gained for the San Marino ride. He's marching towards that top 10 now. Just ahead of Rodrigo, Sasaki in 14th ahead of Tuba. And looking further down, you've got Kornfeld ahead of McPhee now with that point. There's 23 riders score points so far this year. Loy up to 26th ahead of Renes, with Yurchenko right at the back. And then smashing the race objective once again is McDonald. But still, he's not even halfway to being the first rider at the moment. As you look at the rider position, throttle management, brakes management up to 50, lean angle up to 51. And look at all of this reputation earned in the race once again. As Marquez won on home turf ahead of Dovi and Vinales. In Moto2, Bagnaia, Baldassare and Alex Marquez. So once again, we look to bike development. Has he got 22,000 points? So brakes were very good. Should we go with the locking up of braking power? Let's increase braking power. And then the same for suspension to improve 2 parts, or should it be the frame? Let's improve the frame, shall we? Improve that lean and that stiffness. And then that leaves us 1 for suspension. So hydraulics improves the bike's ability to absorb the shocks of surface roughness, or increase the bike stability. Should we go with hydraulics? And so that's our bike mostly developed now. There's only 3 slots remaining. So after the next race, we'll have our bike fully developed for the second half of the season, and then we should have a consistent bike to really compare us to the top bikes and see how McDonald does in the second half of the year. But before we do that, we still got a couple of races, beginning with the TT Circuit Assen round the Netherlands, the classic Cathedral Circuit. Can McDonald break through and grab his maiden podium in Moto3 next time out, or just continue this good run of form? Find out next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.